Australia, a vast island continent, holds within its heart a history older than time itself. For over 60,000 years, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have called this land home. They are the custodians of the world's oldest living cultures. Their stories, woven into the fabric of the land, speak of deep spiritual connections and ancient wisdom. These first Australians lived in harmony with nature. They were skilled hunters and gatherers, their lives intricately linked to the rhythms of the land and the seasons. Their traditions, passed down through generations, are a testament to their resilience and deep understanding of the natural world. The arrival of these first peoples marked the beginning of a human story in Australia, a story that continues to this day. Their legacy is etched into the land itself, a reminder of the enduring power of culture and connection. The whispers of a vast southern land reached European shores, sparking curiosity and ambition. In the 17th century, Dutch explorers, driven by the winds of exploration, were the first to chart parts of this unknown territory. They called it New Holland, a name that would later fade into the annals of history. In 1770, Captain James Cook, a British explorer, sailed along the eastern coast. He claimed this land for the British Crown, naming it New South Wales. Cook's voyages opened up a new chapter in Australia's story, one that would forever alter the fate of the continent and its indigenous inhabitants. The arrival of Europeans marked a turning point, a collision of worlds with far-reaching consequences. The news of Cook's discoveries spread like wildfire, igniting the imaginations of adventurers and settlers alike. The allure of a new land, ripe with possibilities, proved irresistible. The year 1788 witnessed the arrival of the First Fleet, a fleet of British ships carrying convicts and settlers. They landed on the shores of Sydney Cove, establishing a penal colony that would lay the foundation for British colonization. Governor Arthur Phillip, tasked with establishing a new society, faced the daunting challenge of taming a wild and unfamiliar land. The arrival of the British had a profound and devastating impact on the indigenous population. Their land, their sacred sites, and their way of life were disrupted by the relentless advance of European settlement. Diseases brought from afar ravaged indigenous communities, decimating their populations. The clash of cultures led to conflict and displacement, leaving a legacy of pain and injustice. As more settlers arrived, driven by the promise of land and opportunity, the grip of colonization tightened. New colonies emerged, each contributing to the expansion of British control over the continent. News of gold, shimmering and abundant, spread across the globe, igniting a fever that would forever change Australia. In the 1850s, gold was discovered in New South Wales and Victoria, sparking a frenzied rush that drew fortune seekers from every corner of the world. People from Europe, North America, and China flocked to the goldfields, their dreams fueled by the promise of riches. Towns sprang up overnight, transforming the landscape as prospectors toiled tirelessly in search of their fortunes. The gold rush brought not only prosperity, but also social upheaval. The influx of immigrants from diverse backgrounds challenged the existing social order. The competition for wealth and opportunity often led to tensions, particularly between European and Chinese miners. The Eureka Stockade Rebellion, a pivotal event in Australian history, highlighted the growing unrest and the fight for miners' rights. The gold rush left an indelible mark on Australia, shaping its demographics, its economy, and its national identity. Section 5. Towards a Nation, the birth of Australia. The desire for unity and self-governance grew stronger with each passing decade. On January 1st, 1901, a momentous event unfolded. The 6 separate British colonies, each with its own identity and aspirations, came together to form a new nation, the Commonwealth of Australia. This federation marked a turning point in the country's history, a declaration of independence and a symbol of national unity. The newly formed nation adopted a constitution, a set of laws and principles that would guide its governance. However, the path towards inclusivity was marked by a dark chapter. The White Australia policy, a set of discriminatory immigration laws, aimed to restrict non-European immigration, particularly from Asia. This policy reflected the prevailing attitudes of the time, prioritizing British heritage and seeking to maintain a predominantly white society. The echoes of this discriminatory past would continue to resonate for decades to come, casting a shadow on Australia's journey towards a more just and equitable society. Section 6. Global conflicts and national identity. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 tested the mettle of the young nation. Australian soldiers, known as Anzacs, fought bravely alongside their allies on distant battlefields. The Gallipoli Campaign, a costly and ultimately unsuccessful attempt to capture the Gallipoli Peninsula, forged a powerful sense of national identity and sacrifice. The Anzac spirit, characterized by courage, mateship and resilience, became an enduring symbol of Australian national character. World War II once again saw Australians answering the call to arms. They fought in Europe, North Africa and the Pacific, defending their homeland and the principles of freedom and democracy. These global conflicts, though devastating in their toll, also served to strengthen Australia's sense of national identity and its place in the world. Section 7. The fight for recognition. Indigenous Australians raise their voice. The decades following World War II witnessed a growing movement for social justice and equality. Indigenous Australians, long marginalised and denied their basic rights, began to raise their voices in protest. The civil rights movement, gaining momentum in the 1960s, demanded recognition of Indigenous land rights, self-determination, and an end to discrimination. In 1967, a historic referendum was held, giving Indigenous Australians the right to be counted in the census and granting the federal government the power to make laws for them. This marked a significant step towards reconciliation, acknowledging the injustices of the past and paving the way for greater Indigenous participation in Australian society. The fight for land rights culminated in the landmark Mabo decision of 1992. The High Court of Australia overturned the legal fiction of terra nullius, which had declared Australia as empty land before European arrival. This decision recognised the prior ownership of land by Indigenous Australians, acknowledging their deep connection to country and paving the way for native title claims. Section 8. Modern Australia, a tapestry of cultures and aspirations. Today, Australia stands as a vibrant and multicultural nation, its identity shaped by waves of immigration from all corners of the globe. The post-war era witnessed a significant influx of immigrants, particularly from Europe, transforming the social and cultural landscape of the country. This wave of immigration brought new skills, traditions, and perspectives, enriching Australian society and contributing to its economic growth. Australia embraced multiculturalism, recognizing the value of diversity and the contributions of all its citizens, regardless of their background. The journey towards reconciliation with Indigenous Australians continues, marked by both progress and challenges. The national apology to the stolen generations in 2008, delivered by Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, was a significant step towards healing the wounds of the past. Efforts to close the gap in health, education and employment outcomes for Indigenous Australians remain a priority, acknowledging the need to address systemic inequalities. Section 9. Challenges and opportunities, navigating the future together. As Australia looks to the future, it faces a number of challenges and opportunities. Climate change poses a significant threat to the country's unique environment and way of life, demanding urgent action to reduce carbon emissions and adapt to a changing climate. The globalized economy presents both opportunities and challenges, requiring Australia to remain competitive while ensuring a fair and equitable society for all. Reconciliation with Indigenous Australians remains an ongoing process, requiring a commitment to truth-telling, justice, and closing the gap in living standards. Despite these challenges, Australia's spirit of resilience, innovation, and mateship provides a strong foundation for the future. By embracing its rich history, celebrating its diversity, and working together to address the challenges ahead, Australia can continue to thrive as a nation